Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and while you're at it, click the bell to be notified of future videos. This block is called Intersection. It's 12-inch finished. Here's the diagram, and here are 4 blocks set block to block. The only patches we have are squares and rectangles, and we're going to use stitch and flip to make this block. All of the AccuQuilt dies are here if you want to use them. Patch A is a 2-inch finished square. We cut 2.5-inch squares. We need 12 patches of the background and 8 patches of the blue or the teal fabric here. Patch B is a 2-inch by 4-inch finished rectangle. We cut 4.5-inch by 2.5-inch rectangles. We'll need 4 patches each of the background, the pink, and the brown. Patch C is a 4-inch finished square. We cut 4.5-inch squares, and we need 1 patch of the brown for the center. Here are the fabrics I've chosen, and these fabrics are just from my scrap bin. There's no particular collection here. These are patch A's, and we will do these. Some of the squares will be for the block, but most of the squares will be used for the stitch and flip method. Here are the rectangles, patch B, and all of these will be used for a stitch and flip. And here is the large square that goes in the center. In step 1, we're going to take 4 light patches, and 4 of the dark patches are the teal color in this case, and piece 4 units that look like this. So we'll just take 4 of these and 4 of these. Then just piece them together like this, stitch them together, and press the seams open, and you'll make 4 of these. For step 2, we're going to take all of the rectangles and the remaining A patches and make chisel units like this. We'll make 4 of these, 2 and 2 of these 2. For this, you'll need to pay attention to the direction that the chisel is going. So when you're doing stitch and flip or folded corner clipper, make sure that these are facing in the right direction. If you're not familiar with stitch and flip or using the folded corner clipper, we have a short tutorial showing you how to do that. For the stitch and flip unit, I use a sandpaper board, and I'll have a link in the description to the sandpaper boards that I use. It's made by Jen Kingwell. And I also use just a small ruler. Normally I keep these near my sewing machine, and I draw these lines while I'm at the sewing machine just because it's easier for me to have this off to the side, but I'm going to show you today how I use it. So and then I also have a pencil, just a regular pencil. And this is stitch and flip. We'll take all of these A patches. These are the squares we're going to stitch and flip. Turn them over, and I put as many down here as I can. And we're going to draw diagonal lines across all of them. I put my pencil down in the corner, near the corner, not on the very edge. Then I push my ruler up against it. And then I pivot the ruler to match this corner down here. So I pivot it a little bit, and when I see that I have enough room for the thickness of the lead, then I leave it there. And then just simply draw your line. The sandpaper board makes the fabric stay in place. So I'm going to do this for all of the 4 accent squares and the 4 background squares. All of my squares have the diagonal lines drawn, so we don't need the sandpaper board anymore. And we'll take our 4 accent squares and our 4 background squares. We look at the picture. There are 2 different ways you can angle this. We are going to do this way, where once we cut it, it's going to look like this, and this is called a chisel unit. We could do it this way, and then that would be facing the different way. So you'll need to look at the picture, and here we have step 1. It shows you exactly how to do it. These are the accent fabrics, so we look at the picture for the accent fabric, and we see that we'll need to cut this part off. We want it to flip up like this after we stitch it. So I take this to the sewing machine, and I'm going to stitch slightly to the right of this drawn line. So I'll do that and show you. Here's a real close-up of the stitching and the drawn line. You can see the stitching is just ever slightly to the right. This area here to the right is what we're going to be trimming off. And it's okay if you stitch on the line too. For me, I just get better results stitching slightly to the right. And once you've done with the stitching, take a ruler that has a 1/4 inch line on it. You're going to place that 1/4 inch line right on the drawn line and then trim it. Then you'll press the seams open and you'll see this goes this way. Here's one that I finished and pressed open. So we're going to do that for all of the accent pieces. We'll have 2 of the green and 2 of the blue that look just like this. Next we'll look at the picture. Here we're still on step 1, and this picture has you use the background rectangles and then the squares that we've marked, and these are going the opposite way. So here's the line, and I'm placing it like this because I want it to look like this when I'm finished. If we put these together, you'll see they form this look. So we'll put that to the side. Now what we're going to do, this is the part we want to cut off. So we'll turn it this way and stitch just to the right of that line. You stitch to the right on the side you're going to trim off later. So do that for all of your background rectangles and accent squares. And here are our pieces with the stitch and flip method. Now stay tuned to see how to do these chisel units with the folded corner clipper. The first unit is the chisel unit. This is 4.5 inches rectangle, and this is a 2.5 inch square. And you put the right sides together, and normally you would draw your diagonal line and stitch on the diagonal line. But we're going to take this ruler and line up this edge along the edge of the top piece. Then this flat edge lines up with this edge of the pieces, and you'll see that at the 2.5 mark you have a solid line that goes like this, and then it goes up. And so you line up all those 3 places. Then you cut. Now people who like to save triangles, you can have this other triangle, just go ahead and stitch there and you'll have a little triangle. So when we take this away, you see that these tell you where your 1/4 inch is. So you'll start stitching right here at this point. And you'll stitch a 1/4 inch down, and you'll end down here at this other point. Here it is stitched in red, and here it is pressed. So this is the chisel unit, and you can also place the angle going in the other direction, in this direction. In step 3, we're going to take the units we made in steps 1 and 2 and sew them together in 3 different units like this. We'll make 4 of this unit and 2 of each of these. This is the center unit, and these are the corner units. Here is the center units, and they'll be pieced together like this. When you sew these together, you want the points to meet at the same place. How you do that, you flip this over and match these seams here. So underneath, just kind of feel with your finger, and if you pick this up and fold it back, it should line up exactly like this. If it doesn't line up, it won't meet at the point here. You could use a pin and put a pin in a 1/4 inch down on either side, but I found it's just easy to match these seam lines. Just stack them on top of each other and then sew. And this is what it should look like when you're finished after you press it. So make 4 of those units, and then you'll make 2 units like this. Just sew them together, press the seams open, and you'll make 2 units like this. Sew them together and press the seams open. All of our units are done, the sides and the corners, and we just look at the diagram and put the block together. top units into a row, the second row and the third row. Press your seams open, then sew the rows together. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and while you're at it, click the bell to be notified of future videos.